Greetings everyone, it is I, Mello from the Press Start Podcast, and welcome to episode 2 of Single Player. This is the first part of a 5-part video series talking about stealth games, so please sit back and relax and allow me to talk, and yeah. So the first game we're going to talk about today is Assassin's Creed. Now, if you know anything about me, you watch any of my videos, my streams, if you watch, of course you watch the podcast, you're here, you know that I love Assassin's Creed. Well, used to. The franchise as a whole has kind of gone downhill post-Unity. It's had weird spikes throughout its history. It peaked at Assassin's Creed 2 and Black Flag, but every other release besides those two has kind of just been subpar. And I think if I make this video to kind of point out a few things, and you guys are more than welcome to share your ideas down in the comments, I think maybe we can get a community that can probably think alike, and maybe the developers will listen to us. I don't think they will, it's fucking Ubisoft, but who knows. So when I first got Assassin's Creed, you know, it reeked of a stealth game. And when you play any of its other games, it's like every other AAA release. It has stealth sections. It's not a stealth game. And I think that's really one of the biggest problems of the game, is because you have this emphasis on you being an assassin. Now, what are assassins known for? Are they known for going out into war? No, they're known for sneaking around and killing their one target and getting the hell out. Now, granted, that's what you do for the most part. You know, you can choose to run away from guards, hide in hay bales, sit on benches, hide in whatever the hell this thing is, and eventually escape and go back to wherever you're going. Mind you, I'm talking about the first game. If you know about all the other games, you know, just exclude those. Well, don't exclude them. But you know what I mean. I just have footage for this because I'm too lazy to install every other game on my PC. Also, later in this series, I will be bringing up other games that possibly Ubisoft could learn from to improve Assassin's Creed, essentially, because it can potentially be a great game. They just have to do it a lot better. Now, one thing that's kind of stuck around that a lot of fans have gotten tired of, which Ubisoft is ample on keeping. They don't want to get rid of it if you pay attention, but it's the combat system. Now, the combat system is pretty much you standing in the middle of a circle and you are just being attacked. And pretty much the best way to do it is just to counter them, counter your attackers, and it's always an insta-kill no matter what for some reason. And I believe they changed that in Unity. I can't really remember. I just played it to hurry up and beat it and uninstall it before it blew up my computer. But that was combat, and people were okay with it. You know, you can tell Ubisoft really likes that system because they just did new animations every iteration. They just tried to make it cool and feel new every time, but it just, like, after a while, it gets old. You just hold the trigger and press X. That's really it. Now, the mechanics in this game, there aren't really many that stand out. I'm pretty sure in 2007, like, this was probably kid me. It was like, oh my god! But other than that, the really only real mechanics besides combat and exploration is really crowd blending. I mean, I hate to say that it's only a mechanic, but like, I really cannot sit here and think, like, what else is there as an actual mechanic? Like, I'm sitting here at not a script, but kind of like, you know, highlights of what I need to talk about. I have mechanics dash crowd blending, and it's just sitting there blinking, waiting on me to type something. And I honestly can't think of anything. Now, if I think about later iterations of games, Unity had an RPG system, which I'll touch on here in probably a minute. Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood had, well, Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations 3, Black Flag definitely had some kind of economy system, which was fun. You know, it kept us entertained. We slowly upgraded our equipment and everything else. But other than that, I really can't think of many other mechanics. I'm not counting horse riding or anything of the sort. I'm talking about unique Assassin's Creed only stuff. You know, something that another game can't, like, it can copy, but you know, like, when you think of this, you think Assassin's Creed. And since I can't think of any, we're going to move on to the RPG elements. When Unity was coming out, I was psyched, so was everyone else on the planet, because we had this opportunity of really having our own custom assassin with stats and everything associated with it. We could get our equipment that we prefer and all that good stuff, but the problem is that it really didn't matter. It honestly did not matter, and that's where they failed. I would like to see another Assassin's Creed game with the RPG elements. And if you notice, like, I'm talking a lot about Assassin's Creed because the next two videos are going to be two other games that they could definitely incorporate into the AC series and potentially make it a lot better. As I've said before, Ubisoft has a lot of things they like to keep, like the animations for the combat system that they really don't want to revamp because they're kind of lazy. One other thing they like to keep is their mission structure. They are literally interrogation, eavesdropping, pickpocketing, and informer missions, where you chase them, you catch them, you know, it's the same stuff over and over again. I think, honestly, a lot of people have just kind of caught on. And that's why we can, like, the fans like myself just aren't satisfied anymore. And probably a lot of you are sitting there saying, well, Mello, why are you talking about it? I mean, you know, you can just let a AAA game be a AAA game, just let it be shit. Well, here's the problem with that, is that it's a AAA game, which means they're going to stay around for a while. I mean, for Christ's sake, they just released a fucking movie that I seen and it was awful. You cannot tell me we as a community do not need to try to at least have our voices heard on what we need to think, on what we think will make the game better as a whole. And one of the things that has made the game worse as a whole is that since I think Assassin's Creed 2 or Brotherhood, it definitely started within those two games that it kind of killed itself. And what I mean is that in Assassin's Creed 1 you had complete freedom of what you could do. You know, you could decide how you go about your targets, even though, you know, it kind of ended up the same. You stabby them and you run away. And that's about it. But, you know, it got even worse with 2 and 3 because, or not 2 and 3, 2 and Brotherhood and on. That he's like, oh, here, you have a gun in your hidden blade, you have smoke bombs, you have this, you have that. Okay, it's like, awesome, I got all these tools, this should be easy. Okay, and then when you go into the mission, okay, now you can only use smoke bombs, nothing else. Well, what about my throwing knives? Nope. If you want 100% synchronization for an achievement, you know, you get this. And also, don't forget about those fucking flags. I don't know what they're for, I don't know what they unlock, but probably nothing. But be sure to get those, because, you know, that's a Ubisoft trait. And another Ubisoft trait that should have died was the fucking watchtowers. They even, like, they incorporated that into a like a racing game. You know, The Crew, an open world racing game. They incorporated their fucking tower system with radios. Now, if that's not, like, if that's not ridiculous, I don't know what is. That's what I mean. Ubisoft doesn't want to change their ways, and I don't think they will, because they did that for Far Cry. I mean, like, I don't need to give you a list, because they did it for a racing game. To reveal the map. Anyway, this is just me bickering about a series I really do love. And I probably, like Syndicate, I probably won't pick up the next installment on launch day. But the next two games will show a lot of improvement in what, well, not improvement, but it can spark a conversation of what we can add to this series. We might have to reformat it a little bit, but you will understand what a stealth game can really be to its full potential. Because remember, we're playing Assassin's Creed, not Knight's Creed. Not go out onto a warfield and just, or battlefield, and just kill motherfuckers. We're talking about an assassination game where you should plan your mode of attack, your route of attack, or whatever, and go about your business. But the next two games I'm going to talk about will kind of give us an idea of what we should want and expect from Ubisoft from, you know, this point on. Because, I mean, like, how many more games can we take of the same combat system, the same hiding system, and the same exploration systems? I'm burned out already, honestly. So anyway, this has been Mello from the Press Start Podcast. Please leave your thoughts down below. Remember, this is the first part of a 5-part series, and I will see you in a few weeks whenever I get the second episode ready. So, goodbye. See you on the podcast.